Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the Vikings. Get ready to uncover some incredible facts about these legendary Norse warriors. You know, when most people think Vikings, they picture horned helmets and pillaging barbarians. But there's so much more to their story. These intrepid explorers voyaged across vast oceans, leaving their mark on the world long before the likes of Columbus. So buckle up, space cadets, history buffs, as we separate Viking fact from fiction and explore the true legacy of these remarkable seafarers. Okay, first things first. Where did these Vikings even come from? Picture this: Scandinavia, a land of rugged mountains, icy fjords, and not a whole lot of arable land. That's right, the Vikings hailed from present-day Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. And while the landscape was stunning, it wasn't exactly overflowing with resources. This, my friends, is where the Viking spirit of adventure was born. See, limited resources meant they had to get creative. And by creative, I mean setting sail to explore and sometimes raid other lands. But hey, who can blame them? It's not like they could just order takeout back then. Now, the Viking Age is generally considered to have spanned from the late 8th century to the 11th century. That's nearly 300 years of exploration, conquest, and cultural exchange. And let's not forget, these weren't just mindless barbarians. The Vikings were skilled shipbuilders, navigators, and warriors. They had a complex social structure, a rich mythology, and a deep respect for craftsmanship. But we'll get into all that good stuff later. For now, just remember, Vikings, Scandinavia, tough neighborhood. Got it? Good, let's move on. Alright, let's talk Viking longships. These weren't your average rowboats, folks. They were the Ferraris of their time, designed for speed and agility. These were technological marvels of their time, crafted with precision and an eye for detail. Imagine a sleek, wooden vessel, capable of navigating both open seas and shallow rivers. They were versatile and robust. The Vikings built these ships with overlapping planks of wood, creating a strong but flexible hull that could withstand even the roughest waves. This technique, known as clinker-built, was revolutionary. And get this, they were surprisingly lightweight, allowing them to travel up rivers and deep into enemy territory. This made them perfect for surprise attacks. Now, you might be thinking, Neil, how did they power these things? What kind of ancient magic did they use? Rocket engines? Not quite, but close. They harnessed the power of the wind. Okay, not really. They used wind power with large square sails that could propel the longships at impressive speeds. These sails were made from wool and were incredibly durable. But here's the real kicker. They could also row. Yes, they had a backup plan. That's right, if the wind died down, the Vikings weren't just stuck. They had the manpower to keep moving. They'd grab their oars and get to work, propelling those longships with their own brute strength. Talk about a workout! Imagine the coordination and strength required. These ships were more than just transportation. They were floating fortresses. They were symbols of Viking power, exploration, and military prowess, a true testament to their engineering skills. They allowed the Vikings to dominate the seas, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies and forging new paths across the globe. Their reputation preceded them, and just like a trusty spaceship, the longship was essential to the Viking way of life. It was their lifeline. It allowed them to explore, trade, raid, and conquer. It was their passport to the world. It was their key to unlocking the mysteries of the world beyond Scandinavia. Truly, the Viking longship was a marvel of its time. Chapter 3: Vikings, the original explorers. So we've established that Vikings were incredible shipbuilders. But where did these ships actually take them? Hold on to your helmets, folks, because we're about to embark on a Viking world tour. First stop, the British Isles. Now, the Vikings weren't exactly welcomed with open arms. They raided monasteries, plundered villages, and generally caused quite a stir. But over time, they also settled, traded, and even intermarried with the local populations. Next up, we're heading east. That's right, the Vikings didn't just travel west. They sailed down rivers like the Volga and Dnieper, establishing trade routes through Eastern Europe and even reaching the Byzantine Empire. Think about that. Vikings rubbing shoulders with emperors in Constantinople. Talk about a culture clash. They traded furs, slaves, sadly a reality of the time, and other goods in exchange for silks, spices, and other treasures from the east. But wait, there's more. The Vikings even ventured westward, braving the treacherous North Atlantic to reach Iceland and Greenland. And yes, you guessed it, they settled there too, establishing communities in these harsh, unforgiving landscapes. And then, there's the big one, North America. That's right, long before Columbus set sail, a Viking explorer named Leif Erikson landed in present-day Newfoundland, Canada. They called it Vinland, and it's the first documented European settlement in North America. Chapter 4. Viking Society, more than just bronze. Now you might be picturing Vikings as just these hulking figures with axes, always ready for a fight. Their fierce reputation in battle is well known, and often the first thing that comes to mind. And while they were certainly fierce warriors, there was much more to their society than meets the eye. Their daily lives were filled with activities that went beyond just preparing for the next raid. Think of it this way, even the most adventurous space explorer needs a home base, right? The Vikings too had their own communities where they lived, worked, and thrived. Well, Viking society was surprisingly complex, with a clear social hierarchy, laws, and customs. These structures helped maintain order and cohesion within their communities. At the top, you had the kings or jarls, the rulers of Viking communities. They were responsible for leadership and making crucial decisions. Then came the carls, the freemen who made up the bulk of Viking society. These individuals were the backbone of their economy and daily life. These were the farmers, fishermen, craftsmen, and yes, even the warriors. Each played a vital role in sustaining their community. Below them were the slaves, or thralls, who were often prisoners of war or debtors. They performed the most labor-intensive tasks. Now, slavery was a harsh reality in many ancient cultures, and the Vikings were no exception. Thralls were an integral part of their society, despite their low status. But it's important to remember that this was a different time, with different social norms. What might seem harsh to us was a part of their everyday life. Viking families were the heart of their communities. They provided the support and structure needed for their society to function. Women played a vital role, managing households, raising children, and even owning property. Their contributions were essential to the community's well-being. They had more rights and freedoms than many other women in the ancient world. This included the ability to own land and run businesses. And let's not forget about their craftsmanship. The Vikings were not just warriors, but also skilled artisans. Vikings were skilled artisans, creating intricate jewelry, weapons, and even ships, as we've already seen. Their craftsmanship was renowned and highly valued. They had a rich oral tradition, with sagas and poems passed down through generations. These stories were a way to preserve their history and culture. So the next time you think of Vikings, remember, they were more than just raiders and pillagers. Their society was multifaceted and deeply rooted in various aspects of life. They were explorers, farmers, poets, and yes, even family people. Their lives were rich and varied, contributing to their enduring legacy. They were a complex and fascinating culture, and their legacy continues to captivate us centuries later. The Vikings were truly more than just bronze. Chapter 5. Viking Myths Busted. Okay, time to address the elephant, or should I say, the horned helmet, in the room. Let's talk about those Viking myths and misconceptions that just won't seem to die. First up, the horned helmets. I hate to break it to you, but there's no archaeological evidence to support this iconic image. Sure, it looks cool, but it's pure Hollywood fiction. The Vikings were practical people. Why would they wear helmets that could easily get caught on things in the heat of battle? It just doesn't make sense. Imagine trying to fight with those horns getting in the way. Next myth. Vikings were all unhygienic barbarians. Again, not quite true. Sure, they didn't have indoor plumbing or smartphones. The horror. But archaeological evidence suggests they were actually quite concerned with hygiene. They bathed regularly, combed their hair, and even used tweezers to pluck those stray eyebrow hairs. Hey, everyone wants to look their best, even fierce Viking warriors. They took pride in their appearance. Another misconception. Vikings were all bloodthirsty raiders. While raiding was certainly a part of their culture, it wasn't the whole story. They had a multifaceted society. Remember, they were also traders, explorers, and settlers. They ventured far and wide. They established complex trade networks, interacted peacefully with other cultures, and even adopted new customs and beliefs. They were adaptable and open-minded. To paint them solely as bloodthirsty barbarians is a gross oversimplification. So, there you have it. The Vikings, complex, fascinating, and often misunderstood. They were more than just the stereotypes, and their legacy continues to shape our world today. From their seafaring skills to their cultural exchanges, the Vikings left an indelible mark on history. Outro Viking voyage mission accomplished. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about the Vikings, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical insights and fascinating stories. Remember, history is full of surprises, and it's up to us to dig deeper, challenge assumptions, and uncover the hidden truths about the past. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop learning about our incredible history.